Hello everybody, welcome to this video. If you have seen my videos before, you may realize that this is a new setup for me. And that is because I got these new bookshelves and I have rearranged them like so. And I wanted to do a bit of a tour. I've had like a couple requests, if you will, to do a bookshelf tour, and I haven't because I've been wanting to get proper shelves, and I finally did so. And now I'm gonna be doing a tour. And yeah, I'm really excited to do this. I don't know if this is like the final form. I kind of just threw my books on there in a way that made sense to me as of right now, but things might shuffle around in the time being. To start, I did treat myself with these bookshelves. They were not cheap. They're the string bookshelves from String Furniture, which I got through Design Within Reach. So yeah, I wanted to get myself a little gift, and it came through the form of bookshelves because I've gone back and forth many a time on whether or not I wanted to get a more expensive bookshelf or do something like the Billy bookshelves from IKEA. But I live in Chicago and, you know, I plan to be in this apartment for at least another year, but I wanted something that was easier to move around, and that's something that I really value. So solid wood or solid MDF shelves would be really difficult to move between apartments, and these are very modular and easy to you know, potentially build out if I have like a space that is better for like more shelves, or even just to like take apart is very simple. But I think this will be like a better filming setup from now on because I never knew where to film. I always felt like I was sitting in pretty like precarious and odd areas of my apartment, and I say precarious because my camera was just like sitting on a bunch of random shit. Anyways, you probably didn't come here for rambling, you came here for the tour, so let's get into it. Here we are at the top shelves over here. I have some like cookbooks, and by cookbooks I mean 2 cookbooks and a drink recipe book. Here I have all of my cameras. My pride and joy is my Contax T2. Okay, I'm moving over here. But I have some poetry magazines here, and these are all my New Yorkers. I actually I decided I no longer want to receive the physical version, but I accidentally renewed, so I'm just changed the mailing address to one of my friend's apartments because she works in journalism and values the print copy much more than I do. I just read it on my computer these days, and it's just accumulating too much. I have 2 Paris reviews here, and some Vogue collection magazines, which I love. And then below I have, this would be like my classics shelf, I guess you could say. I don't know. I have some of my Penguin classics here. And I guess throughout, I'm just gonna say my favorite ones because I don't want to talk about every book. But I have Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I have The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I quite like this edition that I have. I have A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And then these are some copies from high school, and yeah, you could tell they're pretty beaten up. And then I have my Super 8 camera here. I don't know if it works. I've never used it. I bought it for like $70 at a store outside of DC by my parents' house, and they said they didn't test it, but I have Super 8 film that I bought. I'm just too scared to use it. I don't know why. And then I have this pen cup that was made actually by my mother. She does ceramics. This was one of her first things that she made many years ago. And I have some of my favorite pens, which are the Zebra Sarasa pens, and my mom just came back from Japan and bought me a bunch, and I have some mild liners, and I kind of have these because my books are in the living room, so it's just better to, I guess, have a pen cup for annotation purposes, but also for like living room pen access, if you will. This is my beloved Virginia Woolf shelf. These are all of the Virginia Woolf books that I own, and kind of Virginia Woolf related. I have some biographies. I read this one, which I found quite good. And I just like to collect some cool covers of Virginia Woolf's books when I come across them. Like, I have this edition of The Common Reader, and my friend Julia actually spotted this at a used bookstore for me, and I just think that's so cute. And so those are the top areas of my bookshelf. Okay, now we are in the middle shelves. This shelf is kind of like my favorite fiction shelf. This is my imminent TBR shelf. I have a whole separate bookshelf for my TBR, which I will go through. It's like one of those standing bookshelves. But these are ones that I want to get to sooner rather than later, that I've handpicked. This is my poetry and like essay nonfiction shelf. And this is kind of other fiction, which I like, but is not my favorite fiction, as you can see over here. And yeah, so I guess I'll go through some of my favorites. I guess this whole shelf is my favorite, so if you're wondering what books are my favorite, these are them, for the most part, of the ones that I own. Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. I have a signed version of Young Mungo that I would like to read this year. Michael Cunningham, The Hours, I have. I also have The Hour of the Star by Clarice Lispector, which I love, along with An Apprenticeship or The Book of Pleasures. I also have Agua Viva, but I have that lent out to a friend right now. Lie With Me by Philippe Besson was fabulous. Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. I've talked about this a lot recently. I liked Never Let Me Go, but I also had that lent out to a friend. My Sally Rooney. I have 3 different versions of Normal People because Normal People is my favorite Sally Rooney novel. But I have the UK cover here. I don't really like the US cover. I think it's kind of corny, but whatever. And I have the scripts, which one of my friends got for me for my birthday, which I think is really wonderful. Oh, I also have the annotated Mrs. Dalloway down here. But I guess I just didn't, like, I already had some overflow hardcover on this shelf, so I just put it down there, I guess. And I guess for my imminent TBR shelf, hopefully you can see. I wonder if, like, would it be beneficial to zoom? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, I'm actually not gonna zoom. I have the books that I would like to read soon, and also books that are borrowed from a friend. So this is kind of bothering me. Hold on, I'm just gonna move it a little. Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl is borrowed from a friend. And Thirst for Salt is also borrowed from a friend. So I would like to read those soon so I could return them to them. I have a few New York Review books that I would like to read. In the Cafe of Lost Youth, In Love, and Abigail. So those I would like to get to soon. I have A Horse at Night by Mina Kane. This is a book about writing, and I've been meaning to read this for quite a long time, but I have yet to, and it's so tiny that I feel like I should just do it. The Master and Margarita I would like to read soon, but have not. And the most special shout out, I have Adolescence Leaves, which is by our lovely Nathan's Nook on YouTube. And I've read some of it already, but I would like to sit down and read it properly. And yeah, this is his novella, and I think everyone should go buy it. And it's signed, and it's so special, and I think it's just a beautiful little book. And yeah, so this is probably my favorite shelf. Probably this shelf and this shelf are my favorite shelves on my bookshelf. But I have some poetry and nonfiction and essay, and this little rat guy that I got at the Chris Kindle Market in Chicago, and it's kind of fucked up looking. Like there's like hot glue on the whiskers, like me being a beauty guru right now. But I kind of love that it looks fucked up. Like I think it's endearing. I have my Louise Gluck poetry anthology collection sort of thing, some Ada Limon, my Ocean Vuong, and I have a signed copy of Time as a Mother, so everybody suck it. I saw him at the University of Chicago. He was doing his book tour, and I got a signed copy, which was awesome. What else? I have Little Weirds by Jenny Slate, and she just announced that she's coming out with another book, and I'm so fucking excited. I love this book. Shifting the Silence by Etel Adnan. I also read Time by her, which was wonderful. I think she's a wonderful poet. Bluets by Maggie Nelson, a classic. Love it. And then I also have some plays sprinkled in. Like I have the play version of Fleabag, as well as Death of a Salesman somewhere in here, I think. Am I blind? Oh, here it is. Death of a Salesman. And I also have Waiting for Godot somewhere in here. Yeah. I also think this cover is absolutely stunning. Like, I think it's from the 70s, and I just think it's awesome. I'm not a poetry lover without first having a phase where I'm absolutely obsessed with Orion Carlotto. So I have Film for her, and then Vita Nova by Louise Gluck. That just didn't fit vertically, so yeah. And then I have my other fiction down here. Nothing too notable, I would say, for me, other than perhaps I have Big Swiss. And I do believe it was a letdown, but that's just my opinion. However, I did like A Gentleman in Moscow. I thought this was great. And I bought this actually at a bookstore in Tokyo while I was studying there. So it was at the Shinjuku location of a bookstore where they had like an English section. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, funny to me. That's that shelf. It's not my most exciting, but it's there. Okay, the bottom we're just gonna do one at a time because I can't get the angle right, but here's just like my overflow hardbacks. Shout out Bad Mormon by Heather Gay. She's a housewife of Salt Lake City, if you didn't know. Yeah, I don't know. This was one of my textbooks for a feminist art history class that I took. Which was kind of like one of my favorite classes ever. And then this is my like nonfiction history, philosophy, random shelf. I have some like language books, and some books that I read for my Japanese minor, and this little photo of my family dog, which I think is so cute. Yeah, that's kind of that area of the shelf. And last shelf of this wall, if you will, I just have some of my favorite coffee table books on this one. I have more that I have on my actual coffee table and like by my TV media thing. I have this Yoshitomo Nara coffee table book, which he's one of my favorite artists, and I just think there's something so fun and like quirky and like so me. I used to have like a bob with bangs, and just like that's so me, you know. Anyways, and also one of my favorite painters is Helen Frankenthaler. She was involved kind of like during the abstract expressionist movement, a la like Jackson Pollock era. And I saw this coffee table book. There aren't many books on her, but I saw this one at my local bookstore. It's just very hard to do with one hand. She was kind of a pioneer of the color field movement. And I just think she's sick as fuck. So yeah. And then I have this like photography book that I got from Japan, and it's kind of like everyday photos, and just like kind of situational everyday photos. And I just think like capturing lifestyle in this way is, I don't know, I appreciate it for sure. So yes, and I got this from the Daikanyama tea site in Tokyo, which is one of my favorite bookstores in the world. I could spend so long there. And then I have this Polaroid book from Taschen, and there's some explicit content in here, so let's hope I don't stumble across that. But yeah, it's just, okay, maybe I did, I am. Anyways, we're all adults here. And then I have the Sofia Coppola archive book that every fucking coquette girl has. Not that I consider myself a coquette girl, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's the entirety of this shelf. Now I'm just like gonna go handheld for this. I have my TBR like vertical shelf, which you may have seen in like other videos potentially, the background, but yeah, these are books that I have yet to read. So I have Devotion by Patti Smith, Know My Name, Chanel Miller, The Golden Notebook. My brother-in-law got this for me for Christmas. Chandelier by Clarice Lispector, My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I actually would like to read this sooner, so I feel like this should actually go on my other shelf, but The Passion According to G.H. I have some scripts of some films. I have Hiroshima, Mon Amour, and My Night at Maud's. And yeah. Funny Weather by Olivia Lang. This should also move over because Nathan talked about this book and he really sold me. And I was like, I need to fucking read this. And there was like a section on normal people, which is crazy. Normal People or Sally Rooney or something. I was like, okay. And this is my signed copy of Young Manga that I was speaking of earlier. Oh, this is Hiroshima, Mon Amour in French, and it was like $4 at the used bookstore by me, so I was like snatched. And those are all my books on my TBR. It's kind of excessive, and I don't know how I feel about it. And this shelf is from Design Within Reach. It's the like story bookshelf, and it's not the tall version, it's the shorter version. So that is that. Hello. I was just about to start editing this because I just finished filming and I thought, hey, let's just crank this one out. But I didn't film an outro, and I could very well put my SD card back in my camera and literally stay sat right where I am, but I'm not gonna do that. I am on my webcam. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my shelves. I quite enjoy them, and I can't wait to like fill them out and see how they progress over time. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, not that you would, but if you do, let me know. I will answer them around the bookshelf. I was thinking of doing like a Q&A at like 2,000. It just seems like like having to ask people that ask me questions is just kind of like it takes me out a little bit, but I do it, like I'm not above it. So anyways, was thinking that on the topic of questions. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. That is all I'm going to talk about today. I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.